Assets versus liability. There's an inconvenient truth that most people simply don't realize. What you think is a financial accomplishment could actually be draining your wealth. No, that new car you bought isn't an investment. It's a liability. This might sound counterintuitive, especially since we've been taught to believe that owning things makes us more prosperous. But the truth is, many are caught in a financial trap, accumulating assets that, in reality, take more than they give back. Want to break out of this cycle? Key is simple yet powerful. Learn to distinguish between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes it out. Imagine investing in something that generates income while you sleep, like a rental property or an investment fund. Sounds too good to be true? But that's the real difference between those who thrive financially and those who merely survive. Once you understand this distinction, your perspective on money changes completely. Instead of getting excited about financing your dream car for years, you start thinking about ways to make money work for you. Robert Kiyosaki, in his classic Rich Dad, Poor Dad, teaches us that true financial freedom starts with building a portfolio of assets. And it doesn't have to be grand. Sometimes, a small mindset shift, like investing in stocks or starting a side hustle, is enough to put you on the right path. But how can you apply this to your life? Simple. Before buying anything, ask yourself, is this an asset or a liability? An asset like stocks, real estate, or even a small investment in financial education will bring you future returns. Start small. If you've never invested before, consider opening an account with a brokerage and take that first step. Every penny you put into an asset is a brick in the construction of your financial freedom. This kind of thinking is what separates the rich from the merely fortunate. Pay yourself first. Imagine this. Every month, you work hard, pay your bills, and if you're lucky, have some money left over at the end. Problem is, for most people, that leftover money is never enough to make a real difference. This is the reality for many, and it's a tough cycle to break. But what if I told you that the key to accumulating wealth isn't about how much you make, how much you save, before paying anyone else? That's where the concept of pay yourself first comes in. It sounds almost too simple, right? Yet this practice has been transforming lives for generations. The idea is to set aside a percentage of your income, ideally 10%, before any other expenses. This money isn't for spending, it's for building your future. The logic behind paying yourself first is powerful. When you commit to saving a portion of your income before paying for anything else, you create the habit of prioritizing your financial goals. It's like building a reserve that grows over time. And the best part is that this approach doesn't require you to make huge sacrifices. Even if you start with a small amount, key is consistency. Think of it like planting a seed. It may not seem like much at first, but over time, that seed becomes a sturdy tree that provides shade and fruit. How can you implement this now? Set up an automatic savings goal. Arrange for your bank account to automatically transfer 10% of your paycheck into a savings or investment account as soon as the money comes in. This eliminates the temptation to spend what should be saved. Over time, you'll see that fund grow and experience the power of having control over your financial future. After all, it's an amazing feeling to know that no matter what happens, you always have a financial cushion to fall back on. Debt-free living. Have you ever felt trapped, as if you're constantly fighting against a rising tide of bills and debt? That's the reality for many people who, despite working hard, can't seem to escape the hamster wheel of debt. But imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you didn't have any debt. Yes, no car payments, no loans, no credit card balances. Sounds almost impossible, right? But the truth is, living debt-free isn't just a distant dream. It's an achievable goal. And the best part? The path to financial freedom starts with small, consistent steps. Dave Ramsey, in his book The Total Money Makeover, shows us exactly how we can do this. First step to getting out of debt is to stop creating new debt. It seems obvious, but it's the most common mistake people make. Ramsey suggests using the snowball method. You start by paying off your smallest debts first, creating a psychological boost as you knock out one debt at a time. This builds momentum to tackle the bigger ones. And it's not just about paying off debts. It's about changing your financial habits so you never have to rely on credit again. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with knowing that every dollar you earn is truly yours, not owed to someone else. Now let's make this practical. Start by listing all your debts from smallest to largest. Focus on paying off the smallest debt as quickly as possible, while keeping up with minimum payments on the others. Once the smallest debt is gone, move on to the next. As you see these debts disappearing one by one, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment and, more importantly, financial freedom getting closer. This approach, when applied with discipline, could be the turning point many need to break free from financial bondage, life energy, and financial independence. Money is more than just numbers in a bank account. It's a representation of your life energy. Every dollar you earn reflects hours of your life that you've dedicated to work. Now the question is, are you using that energy in ways that truly benefit you? In your money or your life, Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez challenged the conventional idea that working more is the only way to earn more. They propose a radical yet powerful perspective. By controlling your money, you take back control of your life. It sounds simple, but the impact of this idea is profound. After all, it's not just about saving or investing, it's about living a life that's truly worth living. The core concept of your money or your life is to evaluate the real cost of every purchase we make in terms of time and life energy. For example, if you earn $20 an hour and spend $200 on an extravagant dinner, think about this. You just spent 10 hours of your life paying for a few hours of temporary pleasure. Is it worth it? This shift in mindset can completely transform the way you spend and save. The goal isn't to accumulate money for the sake of it, but to use it in ways that bring you true freedom, both financially and personally. So how can you apply this? Start by tracking your spending for a month. Write down every cent that leaves your account and calculate the equivalent amount of work time for each purchase. At the end of the month, reflect on how you're using your time and money. This simple exercise can be eye-opening and often shocks people when they realize how much of their life they're trading for things that don't bring real value. With this understanding, you can start making more conscious decisions, eliminating unnecessary spending, and directing your energy toward what really matters. Low-cost index fund investing. When it comes to investing, many people imagine rooms full of frantic brokers yelling into phones and staring at confusing charts going up and down. But believe it or not, building wealth in the stock market doesn't have to be like that. In fact, it can be incredibly simple and straightforward. J.L. Collins, in The Simple Path to Wealth, demystifies the world of investing and presents a surprisingly simple solution: low-cost index funds. Unlike more complex investments that promise quick gains, but often end in losses, index funds follow the market as a whole. And guess what? Over the long term, the market tends to grow. The beauty of index funds lies in their simplicity and efficiency. Instead of trying to guess which individual stocks will soar, you invest in a broad range of stocks all at once, minimizing risk. Think of it as betting on the entire team, rather than just one player. And the best part? The costs are extremely low, meaning more of your money is actually working for you, rather than being drained by fees and commission. Collins highlights that this approach isn't just efficient, it's also one of the safest ways for someone to build a long-term investment portfolio. So how can you implement this strategy in your life? Start by looking into broadly diversified index funds, like the S&P 500. These funds allow you to invest in hundreds of the largest companies in the US with a single purchase. And the best part is that many of them require only small amounts to get started. Setting up an automatic investment plan to regularly contribute to these funds can be a powerful way to build wealth over time, without having to worry about monitoring the market every day. Debt versus wealth. True cost of a debt-driven life. Many people believe that the secret to living well is owning everything they've ever dreamed of. Dream house, the luxury car, unforgettable vacations. And to fulfill these desires, it's common to turn to credit. But what few realize is that by choosing this strategy, you're actually delaying your financial freedom. Debt isn't just a number on a bank statement. It represents a loss of opportunities, and often peace of mind. In the Total Money Makeover, Dave Ramsey reminds us that true luxury is the peace of living without debt. When you spend money you haven't earned yet, you're trading your future freedom for temporary pleasures. Most people are stuck in a vicious cycle where new loans cover old ones, and the weight of this financial snowball can become overwhelming. Imagine for a moment what it would be like to wake up without the pressure of credit card bills, without the fear of losing your home due to an unsustainable mortgage. Freedom that comes from living debt-free is a luxury within reach for everyone, but it requires a deep shift in how we manage money. Ramsey suggests focusing on eliminating all debt as quickly as possible so you can then start building a solid foundation of wealth. How can you apply this to your life? The first step is to stop taking on new debt. This means reassessing your spending habits and learning to live within your means. A good starting point would be to create an emergency fund, something simple yet crucial. This will prevent you from turning to credit in unexpected situations. At the same time, work on paying off your current debts. It may be a slow process, but every step is a victory towards financial freedom. Remember, true luxury isn't showing off, it's living without the burden of debt. Throughout this journey, you've seen that the true power over your finances doesn't lie in earning more money, but in how you manage and direct it, create freedom and future opportunity. From understanding the difference between assets and liabilities to the simplicity of low-cost index funds, the essence of all these lessons lies in the mindset and habits you cultivate. The question you need to ask yourself now is, are you willing to take the first steps to permanently change your financial life? And more importantly, are you ready to take control of your future without depending on debt and financial pressure? The action you take today can define tomorrow's success. Think about it. Every dollar you put into an asset is a brick in the construction of a more secure and prosperous financial life. And even though it may seem small at first, these choices add up. So, don't let this knowledge just pass you by. Start now. Set clear goals, create an action plan, and commit to following these strategies. If you want to keep learning and growing on this financial journey, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Let's walk together towards financial freedom, one step at a time. Are you ready to make that change? Are you prepared to live without the weight of debt and with the security of a prosperous future? Let's turn this knowledge into action.